Okay, part two. So I got this off, and so this was the one filter, little filter inside of there. On the inside here, and then this was the screw in the bottom piece that I actually accidentally broke. So we're gonna hope that it goes back together. Right on that, right there. And we're gonna go from there. Well, here, let's try and see if we can. This is pretty bad. So, it's falling apart too. See, this even just cracked and went all the tish. Heck, the hell. And it's ripped there and there. And there. Oh man, this thing's so dry rotted out. Okay. Alright, well, we're gonna get a new one of those, so. Let's see if we can at least wash out this glass bulbs. It's probably not going to be too much. It's probably pretty old, pretty stained, stuff like that, which is fine. When you're dealing with tractors from the 70s and 80s, it's just kind of a given. But that's actually not too bad. So we'll set that off to the side there. And then take this with us here. I'm glad I shut the fuel off now. Otherwise we would have been just running it out of there. Part of the reason why this is so important as well is it strains all the fuel here, because this right here, so it strains it here, this right here is what pumps the fuel to refill these, so that the tractor can start again and start like pulling fuel. It gets all the air, it gets everything else out, so that it can start pulling fuel again and running. So yeah, well, I guess while we wait, we'll just, this is all drained, this is all just about drained out now. So this is where we fill this up here, but we also have to take this off. Ooh. So, the unfortunate part about these is that these things get on the way and make it incredibly difficult to get a good grip. Well, let's see. There we go. See? That's why you wear a belt, for more than just holding up your pants. That's not actually what the belts should just be, for holding up your pants. Let's be honest here. Let's not make it weird. always bound to lose some out during then, because it's just falling out. Since it's horizontal, not vertical, you can't even just catch it in the filter. So that's kind of the unfortunate part about that, is that's why it's always best to either do it outside or do it on a floor like a concrete floor that you can wash or something like that. But you still want to catch as much of the old oil as possible, so you aren't just running it out onto the ground constantly. That's just not good for anybody. Yeah, then you want to take your new O-ring and then you want to put a little bit of the old grease just all around it to help it slip into place, and so it can that way, because it's gonna go in here right like this. And now you don't have to try to be like fancy and fill this back up or anything before you put it back on and try to keep the oil in there. That wouldn't work very well. It would just honestly be a waste. But you just want to, when you fill it up all the way, you want to add a little bit more, because it's going to fill this up, and it's like a little well. There. Alright. So we're gonna put that in there. Well, it didn't pull the top out, so I guess we'll have to do that part ourselves. Because you want this, even using the funnel, you want this up so that it isn't running over top of the dirt and grime, and just taking that stuff in with it and everything else. To be honest with you, I've never actually had that happen before. Well, first time's for everything, I guess. Now you do want to run a small amount through to clean to clean a little bit of that leftover oil out that's still in the oil pan. Just a little bit, just to make sure it starts running out clean and everything else. So. Run a little out there, and then you'll look under here. Yeah, see, it's starting to come out. It's already lightening up. So now, obviously, before we fill it, we have to put the plug back in. Go from there. It is slippery and it is warm, so be ready. And if you do drop it, if you're working outside, just clean off the dirt so you don't get it into your, off the threads and everything, so you don't either mess up the threads or get it in your oil pan or anything like that. There we go. Now we're tightened up, ready to fill. Alright, and that is, you let it run down and settle for, a couple minutes, and then this is where you'll pull out and check everything. I was just going to show differently than what it would, but whenever you do check it, you want to wipe it off so that you're not, so that you can see so you can accurately see what it needs to be, which is you want it in between those two arrows ideally. So it's showing high right now, but that's because it's still running in, and it needs to fill up this as well. So like I said, I put a little bit extra in to make sure there, and then if you ever do overfill it, you just take the plug out and drain a little bit off as slowly as possible. Like, you just wouldn't take the plug all the way out. But yeah, well, I need to go get some parts to fix this last bit of the fuel right underneath this part of the fuel line, and then yeah, I will probably just add a short showing how I put this back together.